Hello, I'm Judy Mario, and this is the World of Book Reviews. Thank you for joining us tonight. This particular section, we're going to be talking about children's books and an exceptional book that we think you might enjoy reading and sharing with your children, or if you're a child, we know you're going to love this book. And tonight, my guest co-host is Miss Grace Merrill. I know your last name. Why didn't I just kind of panicked there and didn't get it out. Miss Grace Merrill is my guest co-host tonight, and Grace is going to tell us about this book entitled The White Horse, and it is by Eli Goodman, and it's a really good book. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I loved the book.
You did?
Yes.
So what's it about?
Well, these people, there's these black horses, and the children loved the black horses, and it was, their parents were, kind of like in the middle. They were like poor, but they had like kind of lots of money, or like a little poor or something. And Tommy, he was the oldest, and he was turning 12 today, and in the book. And the black horses, Prince was the dad, and then Tempera, or I think that was her name, right? And she was having a baby, and they were so excited. They
You want to put those people out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tommy was very excited. They thought it was going to be black, but then time came to the birth, and they got really, really sad, and because it wasn't black, it was actually white.
Okay, let me kind of clarify for a minute. So what we have is a family that has two black horses,
yes,
right? A mama horse and a daddy horse. Okay, and these are beautiful, beautiful black horses. And so then the mama horse gets pregnant, and
yes,
the family is waiting for the baby to be born.
Yes.
Okay, and the family consists of mom and dad and a couple kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, a boy and a girl, right? And so then the children are just waiting and waiting. And everybody is so excited. They're waiting for this baby to be born. Okay. And then the baby turns out to be a white horse instead of a black horse. And what happened then?
And then the children, they got really sad. And then Tommy, he wanted a black horse for his birthday, but then that didn't happen. So he's like, we don't want this white horse. We hate him. Or I think it was a him.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. And they just got really mad because they didn't like the white horse. They thought it was going to be black.
Well, they were disappointed, right? Because they wanted a black horse. And what's an interesting lesson about that is that sometimes we don't get exactly what we want, do we? Yeah. And so then what happened?
And then it was like and then after Thanksgiving, it was a few weeks before like Christmas or something, and they woke up, and it was in the beginning of winter. It was like in the middle, and they woke up, and it was like kind of like 80 outside or something, and they woke up, and they went outside, and they got in like summer clothes, but then they woke up, and they're like,
they went out into the forest, right?
And then they're like, it's really hot outside, and they got into like shorts and a short sleeve shirt or something, and they went. They were like playing tag or something, and they ran right into the forest, and they didn't notice that they were going really fast, and they didn't notice that they were really far into the woods.
Yeah, so they were way deep in the woods, and then they got lost, and they got scared because they couldn't find their way out, right?
And then it was really cold, so, and then
the parents, I think, organized like a search party, and people went looking for them and everything.
Yeah, and then the white horse was waiting for like a help or something. And Tommy, or one of the children, yelled, help over here. And then the white horse ran out of his like home or something, and he ran right where the words were coming, and the white horse's parents, they wouldn't know where they were because they're really dark, and the white horse would be light, so the white horse
so the
would see them.
the moon was shining on the white horse, and the children were able to see it. So they saw the white horse, but they couldn't see the black horse.
Yes.
And so then they followed the white horse home. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
But then they suffered from a little frostbite, but then they were okay.
Oh, okay. So, but the white horse basically saved the children's lives, right? And what happened when everybody got home? And did they still dislike the white horse, or did that change?
Well, it was like Christmas Eve or something, and they just started going to bed, and then in the morning, their mom painted this bowl called it said our special the white horse, our special friend and hero, or something like that. And this book, the white horse is just like me, because sometimes my friends are not very nice to me.
Oh, really?
And and they're just like, they just call me names, and they just ignore me sometimes. And the children were just like me, because and my friends, like, they're just ignoring me, and they're not and they just didn't like me, and they're like calling me names, and they don't know like how I look, and that's just like the white horse.
And so then wow, that's quite a truth there, isn't it? That people have been picking on you like they did that white horse, and one day when they realize what a star you are, they're going to be sorry they picked on you, aren't they? And you know what I really liked about this book is the lessons in the book, because everybody was prejudiced against the white horse, and then it turned out that the white horse really was the only reason the children were saved. And so this is a book that's got a lot of good lessons in it. You can learn things about how to treat other people. You can learn that just because someone looks different than the rest of us doesn't mean they are different. Maybe the color of their skin is different than our color of our skin, but that doesn't mean that they're any different. They're just unique individuals, right? And so when your friends discover your uniqueness, they're going to wish they'd been nicer to you, aren't they? But this book is really an incredibly good book, and I would highly recommend it. I'd give this book 5 stars for a children's book, The White Horse by Eli Goodman, and you can find this on Amazon.com or at bookstores all around the country. Also, I wanted to share with you, I got some interesting statistics off of the internet here that I thought you might enjoy. 33% of high school graduates never read another book for the rest of their lives. And 57% of new books are not read to completion. And the more a child reads, the likelier they are able to understand the emotions of others. And I think this book is one of those books that helps us to understand the emotions of others. And both Grace and I highly recommend that you go out and get this book if you have children in your lives, because it'll make a big difference in their life to read it, and read it with them, and go over it with them, and talk about the lessons that are in the book. Thank you for joining us tonight on the World of Book Reviews. Thank you, Grace, for being here.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you again soon.